Welcome back to another episode of Charm City Heavyweights Podcast. I'm the host, Matt Trigger. With me today, as always, is my esteemed co-host, Josh Merrill. What's going on, man?
Matt, coming live from the man cave, man.
And this episode is brought to you by the Great Eight Sports Memorabilia in Parkville, Maryland, courtesy of Chris Ruling. Thank you, Chris, as always. And this is our first live stream under Driving to the Top Productions on their YouTube channel. So
Yeah,
thank you to our
something new,
partners
something
over
different.
there. Nice little addition to the family. So Josh, I know you have a lot that you want to talk about, my man. It is a glum uh, Monday afternoon, evening in Charm City. We are 10-6 and heading into Week 18 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, you know, there was a tragedy that just happened in the game with the Buffalo Bills. Prayers up to
Hamlin.
the defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, Hamlin. They temporarily suspended the game, so that had playoff implications for the Baltimore Ravens for next week. So we'll see where they stand with that. But Josh, I know you have some stuff you want to get off your chest. You were at the game last night,
Yes,
and
unfortunately.
I that is one of the more piss poor games I've seen us play against the Pittsburgh Steelers in my 33 years of life.
Yeah, it was it's a shame too, man. That the Ravens the production did a really good job of getting that place was rocking, man, with the light up bracelets and it was rocking. I mean, everyone was just ready, to beat the Steelers. Everyone was so pumped up and happy. Um, I mean, I was way up there, so I could feel it vibrating. It's kind of making me nervous a little bit. The entire stadium, the entire game was chanting, fuck Greg Roman," which was a little crazy. And but sitting up at high, Matt, like you were saying with the Broncos game a few weeks ago, man, you can see everything. I'll start with the offense. First of all, I didn't think Edwards touched the ball enough.
He had
And I
three
think
carries for 2 yards.
and Harbaugh was bitching about it, but that's part of the frustration. You're bitching about it today. You're the fucking head coach, man. You can change that. If you see it happening in the game, you can change it. Um, you know, it was hard to watch. Um, like you said, the routes were extremely juvenile. They were extremely cluttered. Uh, then the other frustrating part was Robinson was open. I don't know if you saw on TV, but he was open a lot of the game. He was wide open. Huntley either didn't see him or went to him too late. Um, I, you keep putting pressure on the defense like this, and this what's going to happen. I know everyone wants Lamar back, but I don't really see what the big difference is going to be with him back. It's still the same system. It it was hard to watch, man. It was sad walking out of there. Um, it's pretty scary that Kenny Pickett looked like fucking Roethlisberger to me. Um, every time we got pressure, he made some off the wall fucking throw. It reminded me of an old Ravens Pittsburgh game, and it felt like Big Ben was back, and that's scary because that was the first time I seen him like he's growing up, and he may have something. Because he was slinging it, man. He was slinging it. Um, you know, I knew we had to have the run game go to win the game. Um, I knew Pittsburgh was going to make it tough for a while, but I just really thought eventually we would break through. I know J.K. had almost 100 yards. Um, the reason I think Greg stuck with J.K. is because Edwards wasn't fast enough to get around their edge, and J.K. was getting around it almost every play they called it.
Well,
Um,
they had down linemen. They had six dudes with
yeah,
their hand in the dirt all
they
night
did.
long.
He did, and he was
It,
just sprinting
it,
around the edge, and I think that's why he stuck with Dobbin so long, and Edwards really didn't get a chance. But it's just sad, man. He should have been gone years ago. Now we stuck with him, and you know what? Shame on Harbaugh. Shame on all of them.
this was what we talked about. It was a culmination of what we've been talking about for 2 months. It seems like this is a very juvenile offense. We have no concept of running routes to get separation. We are a very run centric, tight end heavy offense. And if this was 2007, we might be the best team in football. But it is 2023, and we are not. And that 10-6 record is very deceiving because we are a very bad football team. And I am a diehard Ravens fan, and I will rock with this team as much as the next person, if not more, because we are in severe trouble. Lamar Jackson is not going to save this offense.
No,
He's
it's not
not
happening.
going to. Let's just call it how we see it. I'm not even talking about the possibility of the Ravens trading him. That's a foregone conclusion in my mind. Anything short of that will be a surprise. And right
Mm.
now, I'm at the point where 2 weeks we will be out of our misery because this is ridiculous.
Well, we're one dimensional on offense, and when you're
We're
one
one
dimensional in
dimensional.
the
You're right. Yeah.
exactly in the NFL, you can't do that. You're fucked.
But the thing is,
You
if you're
shut
one
down the
dimensional,
run,
you
and
got to
that's
be
it.
passing one dimensional. This is a
No,
passing league. The rules are catered to quarterbacks and wide receivers putting up huge numbers. You can't
no,
hit them anymore,
no.
and then you're still running the ball like it's 2004.
It's just not working. And like I said, when the Ravens can't run the football, or well, they actually ran the football last night, but when the engine's not consistently rolling and we're not pounding the ball and Gus isn't going with Dobbins, this is what we are. So guess what every team's going to do from here on out?
The same thing,
Exactly.
and at this point, uh, what you can't make sense out of it. I was listening to the game last night on TV because
Mm.
I I wasn't there, and Chris Collinsworth is the bane of my existence anyway. I
He
cannot.
must, bro.
He
I
said,
don't know what he did, but I've seen all over the internet all day today how bad he was and
well, he
what
compared
happened.
he compared Fryermuth to Travis Kelsey last night, amongst other things, and that was just absolutely foolish. Collinsworth made one point that I actually noticed, and I'm sure that you did too while you were there. The way Tyler Huntley makes his progressions in the offense when he's passing, he looks for Andrews, he looks to run, and then he looks for a receiver. Those are his three progression reads. If he
Yes.
doesn't see Andrews, he takes off. And then in the process of taking off, if he finds a receiver downfield, that's who he throws the ball to. And that is
Yeah.
a terrible, terrible concept. I get it. I mean, you're trying to win
He's
with the backup
trying.
quarterback, and
Yeah.
at this
And
point in
Huntley's
time,
trying, man.
Huntley is trying, and but we've seen him play start in 8 or 9 games now, and you generally have an idea if the backup is gonna make it or cut it somewhere else. Huntley is not
No.
the
He's a
guy
backup.
the way I thought he was.
No.
And I was talking to my brother last night through text messages, and here's the crazy thing about it: Lamar and Huntley have a similar skill set. That's in terms of quickness, speed. He's not as fast as Lamar, obviously. Huntley's a little bit more refined throwing the ball, and Lamar's more refined in other areas. But Huntley's not an RPO quarterback.
No.
He did better running from under center and in the shotgun as opposed to the RPO. All those design runs with him, that's Lamar's bread and butter, where he's going to get you 8, 9, 11, 15 yards, where Huntley's getting you 3. So that's
Yeah.
not working, and especially when they had 6 down linemen and they were bullying us on the offensive line. They bullied us the entire
Oh yeah.
second half.
I was clear to see
Af-
from up in the sky.
After they made Cam Hayward upset, he demolished anybody he was in front of the rest of the night.
Sure did.
T,
Everyone.
TJ Watt had another great game. He had 3 tackles for a loss. He had a sack. He had a couple of hurries. The dude was just all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And the only way we were really getting around him on the edge is by letting him run upfield and running stretches
Yeah.
or like a patient kind of counter run. and we were pulling our offensive linemen like crazy to try and neutralize him and Hayward last night. We were pulling everybody. I saw Linderbaum, both tackles, both guards. Hell, Ricard was pulling essentially every run play.
Yeah.
It just I get it. We clinched the playoffs last weekend, man, but where are we going to go with this type of offense, even with Lamar Jackson? It's
Nowhere.
impossible.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's
That ship
100%
sailed, man. I'm not
impossible.
even. That's why I don't even care who we play. That ship sailed.
The
I'm
ship
looking
has
more
sailed.
towards
No,
golf.
you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely 100% right. The
It's
ship
not
has
happening.
sailed. The
It's just not happening.
this fan base needs to be realistic and temper their expectations. I know there's
Yeah.
people that are going to be 100% dedicated to the team regardless and say, "Oh,
Well,
we're
oh
going to make
yeah,
a
and don't
run."
mistake it. I am.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am just being
I'm holding
realistic.
out
The
the
odds
hope,
of it. If you want,
but
you guys. Sometimes you got to just take the glasses off and
if
think. If the Ravens weren't my favorite team, what would I think about them? And be real honest with yourself. And
if
and and that's what we call taking the purple shades off for a second.
if the season ended today, we go to Cincinnati in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
Can't
That's
score with them. Can't
bad
score with
news. We
them. We
can't
were a
score
different
points.
team when we beat them. And no, hold on, wait, let me check that. That Cincinnati game was probably the best game the Ravens played all year, and I do expect it to be a close game no matter what. But Cincinnati does have the strong potential of torching us. Um,
The strong
the last time we
potential.
played Cincinnati, but hold on though, when we beat them, first of all, I think that's the best game we played all year, in my opinion. And
That was week
secondly,
6, though.
I know they
It's
weren't what
week
they are now.
18.
Exactly, they aren't what
That's
they are
week
now.
6, though, Josh.
I know that's what I was trying to say.
That's 3 months ago. Do you realize that's 3 months ago? That's when Lamar was still hot. That's when Lamar
Hmm.
was being talked about as the early MVP candidate. This is not that. This is
No,
completely different.
yeah,
And as much as I want to believe in us, I am lowering my expectations to where we are one and done because
yeah. It's easier that way. That way, it don't hurt as bad when it happens because we were
I'm
waiting for it.
preparing myself for heartbreak. This is a situation where if we go into Jacksonville or we go into Cincinnati and get a win on the road, Buffalo and Kansas City loom still.
Yeah.
Tennessee looms. You know, I'm or the Chargers or whoever we could.
Hold
We're
on
not.
now. If this team goes and gets a playoff win, man, then I'm thinking different. Then I'm probably a little happy.
I'm still not. I always approach every game with the any given Sunday mindset, Josh. But at this point in this juncture, we're not making a deep run. We are not. We don't have the depth on either side of the ball, and if the
No.
offense keeps on playing the way they're playing, that defense was gas. That
Oh yeah.
defense was absolutely
Defense
gas.
was playing well, man. Houston was so I don't know if you could tell on TV, man, but Houston was so close all night, man. He was so close. That's why I was saying earlier about him look kind of resembling Roethlisberger, um, just because the elusiveness. He had the feel to move around and not take that sack. It's something Lamar doesn't have. Um, and then just find the guy and make a good strong throw, man, on the run. And it was the eerie feeling of Roethlisberger. And I wasn't the only one thinking that because I could hear it chattering around me.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It was tough to watch. Um, we're getting a couple comments on the feeds. We're getting a couple comments on YouTube from Melissa. She's on the Driving to the Top network with us. We did honor Damar Hamlin in the beginning of the show. We are sending our prayers to him. Uh, it's been, I've been constantly checking Twitter to see what's going on with him, and he's still at the hospital right now. They said he wasn't breathing on his own, so our prayers are continuing to go after him. Um, yeah, it's really it's just scary when I saw him collapse, man.
Yeah.
I know we were kind of in our groove, man, but that was I've never seen anybody collapse on a football field before, and I've seen dudes have their necks broken on the field and and really bad concussions and really bad broken bones and stuff. But I've never seen somebody stand up and then just go completely limp. Um, 9 minutes of CPR and the AED. Hey, I'm
It's not
trained in
good.
all that, man. I'm trained in all that, and 3 minutes is a long time to administer that, let alone nine. Yeah, I mean that was all hands on deck. So let's just pray that that was a you know that they did everything they could. Hopefully, Hamlin is okay and they can figure out what happened. It might have been a heart attack or something like that on the field. But if it was an aneurysm or anything in the brain, he'd have been dead before he hit the ground. You know, to be as honest about it as possible. But uh, our prayers to go to him. It, I'm glad they called the game because that was absolutely terrifying.
It's not called yet. It's just postponed right now. It's
Oh,
temporarily.
okay. It's
Fans are
temporarily
still in the
suspended. Okay.
stands. Yeah, the fans are still in the stands. I'm glad they did the right thing, man. The players were supposed
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
warming up, and nobody was warming up. Like, you
yep.
know, guys from the Bills and Bengals were still talking. Like, no one was attempting to get ready to play. So
You
they
you
did
know
the
it's
right thing, man. Some
you know
things
it's
are bigger than
crazy.
this. As much passion and emotion as you put into this, it is just a game that was intended for children.
No,
So
you're
at the end
absolutely
of the
right.
day, it's that's life and death.
Um, it's crazy and it's serious when the ambulance comes on the field and they don't leave. When
Yeah.
if it was something manageable and under control, they would have carted Hamlin off
Well,
the
when they
field.
don't
But
put you on the stretcher immediately because you're
yeah,
not even stable enough to get on a stretcher, that's not good.
I remember one of my first football games in Lutherville. One of my teammates broke his neck, and that was one of the scariest things I ever seen. I almost stopped playing football altogether.
I
I was
mean,
like
yeah,
nine. I was like 8 or 9 years old, man. I
yeah.
mean, he ended up being okay, I believe, but that was scary stuff. You never want to see anything like that happen.
No, but it does. It's a extremely violent game, man. It's
And that
and
looked about as
especially when
routine as you could possibly. I mean, that people
guys
are
are
saying
freaks.
people are saying that the replay looked crazy, but it looked like a routine hit.
I don't see anything crazy with the hit. It looked like a normal hit. I mean, it's
Yeah,
hard to say. I don't see anything crazy about it. The NFL office has got to be losing their mind right now because there's also a business.
absolutely. And this isn't good for anybody right now.
Nope. No, absolutely not.
But to kind of circle back, um, you know, to last night.
Fuck. The
Uh,
Pittsburgh stands, dude, they were uh,
I'll say this though,
cheering.
I watched the
They,
game and I know that the defense was on the field for a very long time. I acknowledge that. That was
I was in
probably the
shock, dude. I didn't think he caught it. I thought we stopped him. I was like, oh, he
that
didn't
was
get it.
Roquan's worst game as a Raven. He set
Yeah,
the bar
yeah,
extremely
he
high.
was. Yeah,
He
it
was
was
get
pretty bad.
he got
Oweh too,
dragged down.
man. Oweh is a fucking joke. Let me just tell you guys this. I'm
It's
sure a lot of
tough,
you have been
man.
to games this year or would agree. And if you haven't, go to. Well, I guess you gotta wait till next year. He's bad. It's really bad. I don't even think he played a lot. He was on the bench a lot.
It's not really looking good because where I was mentally with the pass rush mid-season, where always gaining pressure and Jason Pierre-Paul's getting a little bit of push, and then Bowser's coming back, and we have Oweh and Ojabo. Now I'm looking at it. Houston has hit an absolute wall the last month, at least. Oh,
Did Ajabo dress?
Ojabo has dressed one time, and that was against Cleveland a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Okay.
Ojabo's. I mean, we saw Charlie Kohler on offense. I saw Charlie Kohler for the first time last night,
Yeah.
but you know,
They zoomed in on him and everybody cheered.
well, yeah. I mean, a sports hernia took you 16 weeks to get back, buddy. I just didn't like how the defense was constantly on the field for all this. And
Yeah, it
another
wasn't fair. It wasn't
another
fair. But we
another
were
thing,
moving the ball though. Hold on, let's not lose some of it. We were moving the ball for a while.
I
But
hear
it's
you.
like that second half is when they locked that shit down.
I hear you. We moved
We
the
had no
ball. I
answer.
hear you. We had, but the thing is, when J.K. rushes for 70 yards in the first half, and then you completely go away from it, they make adjustments, and then you try to push the ball down the field, you try to force the ball down the field, and then you're going three and out repeatedly. It's just what was working for you, you went away from. They should J.K. should have had about 145 yards, 150 yards last night, easily. But they tried to change things up and they tried to adjust when they didn't need to adjust. You got the lead. You got a double digit lead going into the half. Keep running the ball, keep running it out. And one of the biggest things that is very glaring to me on the defense, Josh, Calais Campbell being hurt is absolutely killing us right now.
Yeah. I thought Matabuke played well though, and
He was
Washington
getting bullied though. They were pushing him around. He made a couple good plays, but our line play on both sides of the ball was
was not
absolutely atrocious.
what it's been. The offensive line playing that bad really shocked me, man, because I thought they were one of the better units in the league.
When I saw Cam Hayward throw Ronnie Stanley into J.K. Dobbins on one of
Yes, he
those
did.
traps, I was like, "This is a they have our offensive line shaking right now. They could
Yep.
not get anything going. Zeitler was doing his best to hold Alu and all those guys in check. He's the only one that didn't give up ground last night. Powers was getting pushed around. Linderbaum got pushed.
Linderbaum.
He got pushed in the backfield about three or four times. Moses
Yep.
was in and out of the game again all night long. So we had McCary in there, and when McCary's in there, the offensive line seems a little bit quicker. But he put McCary on T.J. Watt was
To watch, I do as much as I hate the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers. To watch Watt in person, this has been my first Ravens Steelers game in years. So to see Watt in person, man, that's pretty. Dude's a freak. Like you can just see it, man. Like gosh, he is so
he
fast, man. It's
he's
insane how quick
fast,
he is.
he's strong, he's quick, and the thing is, seeing him there after years of seeing them with James Harrison and Lamar Woodley, they had Bud Dupree there for a little bit. There's been hardly any drop off in a premier pass rusher in Pittsburgh. Between the pass rushers and the wide receivers, those dudes in Pittsburgh don't miss. And I hate admitting that, but they don't miss
And
at all.
JJ wasn't a first round pick. Well, he was like I'm JJ
TJ,
TJ.
he
Yeah,
was the
he was
first.
like a third.
No, he was
He
the first
was.
round pick. Yeah,
He was. Oh, okay.
I think he was late in the first though.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's just
Damn,
it's crazy to see this man. You
it's hard to watch. It's sad.
and then
That stadium was quiet. The ride home was quiet. Just
what do
quiet.
you do, man, on week 18? What do you do? Because
That's a tough one.
I mean, unless Cincinnati loses tonight, whenever the game resumes, if Cincinnati loses tonight, the division is still up for grabs. So that's the difference
See,
between
it's two
playing it
different stories. Yeah. I mean,
right. So
if the division if it's settled and the game means nothing, I think you rest guys and give guys some rest to go into the postseason and
I
start
don't
getting
think
them up.
you rest everybody, but I think you hold out
Certain
Campbell,
guys. Yeah, Campbell. I wouldn't play Roquan.
Zeitler,
I wouldn't
those
risk
guys.
it.
Don't. But the thing is, if the division's up for grabs, number 8
Yeah,
needs to be
that's
in pads.
awful. Yes, absolutely.
And I think it's crazy that the NFLPA is telling him to sit out until the they have a deal, which
Yeah.
uh, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I
it's as much as I hate it, and then I try to think of it, from Lamar's side. But we're fans. We just want the win. We really don't care how much money he gets. Honestly, it doesn't affect us none. But from a business standpoint, if it's generational wealth, um, it's a business too, man. As much as he wants to win, it's also a business. I guarantee he wants that payday bet more than he wants to win.
Well, at that point, he's securing generational wealth, so I don't blame him.
And I don't.
It,
We can't. But it makes us mad and angry and hurt because we like to think these guys are playing for passion and love,
and they're
which
not.
they
They're playing for
are, but
money.
it's
They're playing
money.
for
It's a
money.
job. It's a job.
It feeds their family. It's a job.
Yeah.
It just it sucks, man. I try to be reasonable and objective about it, but I'm really struggling to find any good that came out of last night and moving forward. This is going to be
Yeah.
a long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be and it's going to be an even longer off season because a lot of questions are going to loom over this football team. There's going to be a lot of people that have to.
If major changes aren't made, then shame on Eric again,
We
because
know we know
a
Roman's
lot
gone
of
at least.
things. Because Harbaugh is now expressing frustration to the media. He's done. He's done.
We
He
know.
might as well put his house on the market.
Yeah, Roman's gone. That's a foregone conclusion. Roman is out of here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's definitely out of here.
Yeah.
I
When the
I
head coach is publicly making comments like, yeah, why I'm upset Gus wasn't in the game and this and that, that's not good because that's not in Harbaugh's character. I've never actually seen him do that. Now I'm thinking about it.
But you're the head coach. You're the
I
head
know that's
coach.
what's frustrating. Run the fuck, get Gus in. Like why? That's what I don't get.
Get
Why
on
does
the
it have?
headset and tell Roman to run Gus.
Oh, they shut the
Simple.
game down, bro. They're packing the equipment up.
Oh man,
That's not a good sign.
that's not a good sign at all. You
Mm.
kind of wonder what they're going to do with that in terms of because this game was important for a lot of reasons, but Hamlin's health is far more important than anything they got going on.
Yeah,
Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, does it go to the Bengals since they had the lead when the?
I'm not sure if they do or not.
I don't know. You're either reading really long or you're frozen.
No, I'm not. I'm not reading or anything like that. I'm fixing my speaker.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting feedback from my wife that my audio sucks.
No, I don't. Maybe it's your speaker, Sam.
Don't get her commenting, please. Please, please don't.
It still says temporarily suspended, but it's clearly showing the equipment people packing up helmets and shit.
Maybe they're gonna go into the locker rooms and figure something out. That's the only thing I can think of.
It keeps showing them they're not even in the locker room. They're just all standing in the walkway.
Let's go to some of the comments here. Sam Martell says there's nothing to recap. Amen. Uh, Brandon Mitchell said that we were killing the edge all night, and then Roman wanted to run up a gut 10 times in a row. I was
Yeah.
being a little bit facetious, but yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey. Good comment, and that was a point I wanted to make. Poor Justice Hill has a hell of a fucking run back. Right? We have
And
crazy field. What are we on their 40?
nothing.
And we go backwards. Like that's the difference in the game. That drive, like that could have won the game.
Run the
Like
ball,
that's
kick
just
the
not
field
accept.
goal. It's game over.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, man. And it hasn't been acceptable. That's why a lot of people you don't even hear anyone blaming Harbaugh, but I do. I do. It's time for something new.
Mark
It's time for something
Rogers,
fresh.
my father-in-law, says that we're one and done. He's been saying we're one and done since like October. So that's just nothing new in his eyes. He doesn't believe anybody on the roster is the quarterback of the future for us. Um,
I used to
Sam
disagree with
Martell,
that.
yeah,
I don't really anymore.
Sam Martell said that he commends Booger McFarland for his words and his raw
Yeah, me
emotion.
too.
You
Yeah.
know,
You could tell he
um,
did not want to be on camera. He did not look too happy about it.
no,
I don't blame them, man. They shouldn't be. Like, go just cut the commercials, show a fucking rerun.
Brandon Mitchell said Roquan needs Calais in the middle. Our D line got bullied in the A and B gap. We touched on that a little bit a couple
That's
minutes ago.
yeah.
It was a
There was
long
I don't
day.
know if it showed on TV, but there was one play early in the game. Um, I showed my nephew on the replay on the big screen because he didn't catch it. But the guard or somebody, a lineman on the Steelers, drove him back, man, about 9 fucking yards, like it was
Who?
nothing.
Roquan?
Yes, just
Wow.
put him back all the way back. I don't know if you saw it on TV or not, but I was like, "Did you see that?" And he was like, "No." And then they showed the replay, and you could see it in the replay. He's like, "What
Uh,
the hell?"
your wife said, "Look at how clear Matt looks now with his ring light. You look like a professional now, Trig." Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Your best friend hooked a brother up. Um, Brandon Mitchell said Matabike was getting destroyed. He was getting pushed around quite often. That was a very true statement. He was getting pushed around a lot. He made a couple plays, but for every one play he made, he was getting driven back 5 yards the next play. Um, Hayward was a demon after that penalty. Yes, somebody pissed him off, and he absolutely went nuts along that defensive line. Nobody can block him one on one. Even on double teams, he was still pushing the pile. I watched him the entire second half, and he just manhandled everybody. When you're throwing your when you're throwing the Ravens all pro left tackle into the running back and tackling the running back at the same time, you're upset and you're
Yeah,
playing it at a high level. Uh, let's see what else. Brandon Mitchell said, "I hate that Pittsburgh always finds ballers." I'm gonna kind of build off what you said earlier, Josh. Pickett was making some really good plays. He's elusive. He is going to be a good quarterback. Najee is going to be a really good running back. And if Pickens is a hell of a wide receiver, the way I think he's going to be, they got another trifecta in Pittsburgh that's going to give us problems for a
yeah,
long time. Even
yeah,
Deontay Johnson looked good before he got hurt last night.
sure did. It was Roethlisberger esque, man. Just the elusiveness, and then hitting those throws. It was frustrating.
Um,
Um,
yeah,
I
my
thought they were
cousin,
sacks. I was trying to get a damn sack going.
my cousin Allie said that they're going to be one and done as well. Her dad thinks so too. My cousin Timmy thinks that they're going to be one and done. I agree. This is there's really no much. There's not really another way we can spin it, Josh. They're one and done. That's a wrap. This season ends on the 17th or the 16th, whatever day we play. I hate being pessimistic. I've never felt this way about a playoff team in Baltimore the
Because
way
you
I
know
do right
why?
now.
You know what the difference is? In years past, we may get those flashes, and then we can think we can get back to that. So we're excited. It's almost like insanity every week. We're going to catch that back. But it's been so many weeks now where we haven't had that, man. It's just,
I'll put it to you this way. One of my coworkers said it best to me last week. It's really hard to root for these guys and want them to do well when it's obvious and clear that their quarterback has checked out. So if you're the leader of your team is mentally checked out the way that we are assuming he has because of the way it looks, what kind of hope do you have? I mean, Huntley's a good backup, but he's not going to go toe to toe with Burrow and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It'd be crazy to think that.
no. It would, no. I don't see that happening. That's impossible.
It, you, I don't even want to see him go head to head with Trevor Lawrence.
No.
That
Trevor
that
Lawrence is looking like
that
the guy he
ended.
was supposed to be.
They drafted him at number one for a reason. And right now, if you look at every quarterback in the playoffs in the AFC right now, our quarterback is number seven.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah.
even right now, if you put Lamar in there, he's probably number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it
The
like
way
that because
well,
he,
it's the truth, man. No one wants to blame him. The media. It's all the Ravens' fault. It's all their fault. It's all this. It's all that. But to me, it's clear. To me, it's clear. He's lost it.
let me ask you this. I know we're getting closer to the end of the show. I mean, there's really not much more to discuss. we do go hypothetically we go one and done, Josh, and it's not a typical close football game. If it's a blowout and we get run out of the stadium wherever we're at, are you making wholesale changes from the head coach on down, or are you making changes across the board, coaches and players and front office?
To me, honestly, if I'm running it, I'd probably give Harbaugh one more year, put him on the hot seat, but mandatory Roman is gone and see what it looks like under a different coordinator. If I'm actually running it right now, franchise Lamar, if he'll accept the tender and play, and then see what it's like under a different coordinator. And if he somehow looks like, MVP Lamar or anything close to that, he can make a move in the playoffs, win a couple games, then you pay him. If I was in charge, that's what I would want. And in my heart, that's honestly what I want.
Yeah, if it's bad, I truly believe that we clean house from the coach on down, but I really think that it might be one of those situations where Harbaugh decides to walk away instead of a firing.
Yeah,
Just
I gotta feel that too. If he ever gets fired, or if he gets fired, it's going to be done respectfully. He's not. It's
they're
going to
not
be he
gonna
resigned.
they're not gonna shit can him. They're gonna say he
That's just
retired.
how the Ravens operate. Yeah, I was surprised when they did the firing with the Billick situation. That was kind of unlike him, but with John, he's been here longer than Billick was now, so I gotta imagine that's how it would be done respectfully.
Yeah, this is just rough, man, because I truly believe that our relationship with Lamar is beyond repair. Like when he was in the game, when he was on the sideline last night, they were showing him on TV. I mean, he it's crazy that it took him to the third quarter to go sit with Tyler Huntley on the bench and talk to him, like in between series. They said
Yeah,
Lamar avoided him the entire first half.
but some of that could be he don't want to get in his head or try to change. That could be a lot of things. But I get the speculation.
I have no faith that it's going to take a fully guaranteed contract north of Deshaun Watson to get Lamar to stay in Baltimore, and Steve Bisciotti will
No,
not
it's
do that.
probably not going to happen. I was more or less saying what regardless if they get blown out or not, because to me that doesn't matter. It's a concluded. They're not going anywhere this year, so that's just what I would want, man. You're on the hot seat officially. You're going to get one more year. Uh, the stipulation is Roman is gone. Find a new one with a different philosophy. Lamar may play on that franchise tag. That's big money too.
43.5 million,
Yeah,
a lot of money.
yeah,
And the thing is, you got to get that durability in check, man. The best ability is availability.
yeah.
Missing
As
five or
angry
six.
as as angry as I am with him, and as much as I say, how bad he looks on tape with missing guys and not seeing guys, I part of me also wants to see, him under someone different.
But you're sacrificing a lot.
Exactly. Yeah,
The
that's true.
sacrifice is astronomical because at that point you got to keep Roquan, no matter how bad of a game he played last night. The defense has been completely different. We rank in the top five in almost every statistical category since
Oh
Roquan
yeah,
was
Roquan.
acquired.
I like I said, what they gave up for him, I completely have faith they have plans. He's in the plans.
Yep, he's got to be the collateral, the amount of change that he's made in a short time. You got to do it. There's no other way to. There's no other way. You have to make it happen.
Yeah, you're right.
But a lot of guys, you're still talking about sinking 43 million into Lamar on a maybe. That's a maybe, Josh. That's not.
It's a big risk, man. I know, I know, I know,
It's a
I
huge
know.
maybe.
The only
Because
thing that scares me is I'd hate him to go somewhere like Atlanta or Carolina and light it up and beat a fucking man, and then we look stupid.
But we thought that in 2019 that we had that,
Yeah, you're right.
and then
And I
and
know
then
he's a guy.
2020 hit.
I know he's
He's
digressed.
regressed. He's regressed yearly. It's
Yeah,
no little bit. He now on top of his regression, he can't stay healthy. That's a terrible mix.
it is. It is 2 years in a row. I always thought he was durable. Didn't take hit square. Always got up, and we kind of take Cookie for granted.
And his last two injuries that have ended his years have been on hits in the open field.
Yeah, yeah,
Brandon Mitchell said 2020 wasn't 80% of the team hurt. They were,
yeah,
but if we're going to consider Lamar Jackson to be the cream of the crop in terms of quarterback play, you're supposed to make the people around you better, and to
exactly.
some degree. So that only holds a little bit of weight. I don't want to hear these people talking about the lack of a wide receiver one. I agree with what you've said all along, Josh. No wide receiver one is going to come here and block and get 5 targets a game. It's not going to happen. Lamar
Never.
relies heavily on the tight ends. You're not going to get that here.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Sam Martell said all the other top quarterbacks make their players around them better. They do,
Yeah, they
absolutely.
do. They do. They do.
Brady took Deion Branch and Troy Brown to the Super Bowl.
He did. He did, and won,
You're right.
and got Deion Branch a big ass contract in Seattle.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure is, and that's what great quarterbacks do. That's you like you said it perfectly. That doesn't hold a lot of weight, you know. Uh, and like you said, also no receivers coming here in their right mind. It's career suicide. Why would you do that? Makes no sense.
Not under Greg Roman. You've heard
No.
multiple wide
I mean,
receivers speak
honestly,
out
in
about
the history of the Ravens, it's never really been the case. I mean, I know we've gotten Mason traded for Bolden, but no receivers really. I mean, look at the Terrell Owens fiasco.
those things. And the fact that he was linked to us last week was absolutely insane. And I love the old names, but Terrell Owens is old enough to be my father. So no dice.
Yeah,
No dice there. If
yeah,
we
he doesn't
sign
need to.
Terrell Owens, it's a pure publicity stunt.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though he's probably better than the majority of the receivers we got on the field right now.
he probably is, man. James Prochet is what kills me the most. I always thought, he could actually be legit, and he showed so many flashes of it, and
He's a
he's
preseason All
just,
American.
yeah, he's just not he's not the guy.
Preseason All American, man. He's pitiful. And
He
you
sure is.
obviously and obviously he's doing something wrong during the week to where he's not even getting reps on offense. And I cringe every time I see him back there fielding a punt. They just need to let Justice Hill do everything. If Duvernay's hurt, let Justice Hill do it.
Yep, he runs so hard, man. He's so fast. He was
Yep.
that kickback he had, man. He was flying.
I'm afraid Justice Hill's played well enough to where he's going to probably get paid by somebody else to be a change of pace back and special teams ace.
He probably is going to.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't envision him being here next year.
Unless nobody wants him, which I highly doubt because his skills
Nah,
can.
somebody will grab him. Maybe even like San Fran. You never know.
I was listening to what Mike Tirico was saying. And he's saying that the Ravens invest a lot in their special teams, and if you think about it, majority of our backups are really good special teams players. So that's where they're going to make their money.
Yep. That's the
But
only bad thing when you're at the game. You lose the broadcast feel of the game.
uh, Drew Robinson, one of our regular commenters, says if Lamar goes, who will replace him? Huntley's trash, and free agency in the draft don't look
Well, no,
promising.
you'd be start. It doesn't matter. I mean, you'd be completely starting over,
You would
and
have
you're
to,
probably not finding your guy this year. You'd have to go out and get a journeyman like Derek Carr
or Garoppolo or somebody
or
like that.
Garoppolo. Yeah, you'd have to go out and find your filling guy until next year's draft, or even maybe even the year after, till you find your future.
You know,
I
you
mean,
would
everybody
probably
would
lose.
expect them to be in content. If they decide to cut ties with Lamar, then next season's a watch for me. I don't expect them to. I would still watch every second of every game. I'm not that kind of fan. I watch, but I wouldn't expect anything out of the season. I mean, and I'm not against that. I'd be fine with that. That's exciting to me to try to find someone new, different
If
steam, different look. Like we tried this. We tried it. It
if
lasted
you
good for a little bit, and
if
then
you
that ship has motherfucking sailed, Jack.
if you do go with the journeyman and you do entertain the idea of somebody like Derek Carr, he's going to be 33 next year. He's not a forever option. So you look to the 24 draft. To me, the 24 draft has more viable quarterback prospects for the Ravens than 2023. All these quarterbacks that are coming out, they're smaller,
Or
they're
Lamar
faster.
similar.
Yes.
Or Lamar similar. Yeah,
The
that's not what we want.
2024, give me Quinn Ewers, give me Drake May, give me Caleb Williams. I'll take one of those guys in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
And
in
then
a heartbeat.
you can extend our window a couple more years down into the late 2020s. But you know, if Lamar does go, I expect us to acquire a lot of first round picks, if not second round picks, to where we can really replenish other areas as well.
Yeah, it's starting over. You start building back up.
Yeah, I'm. It's easy to play armchair GM right now, and at the end, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to lose Lamar. That's what I, that's the thing. As much as I'm being a realist about it, I don't want to lose him. I don't think he would be, you know, somebody that we just trade for a couple picks and then see you later. You have to put a lot of thought into it. You need a king's ransom to move him, or you tag him and eat the money. But I don't. I love Lamar Jackson. I've been a fan of his since he was at Louisville. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Ravens fan and he's my quarterback. But the dude won the Heisman when he was 17 years old, and he won the MVP at 22 unanimously. The dude can play football. And what's crazy is that when he was at Louisville, he played in a pro style offense under Bobby Petrino. He just was faster than everybody else and scrambled and ran for 1,000+ yards in his Heisman season. But he played in a pro style offense. And then we build a college offense for a guy that was successful in the West Coast and spread. And now you put him in the RPO for 4 straight years, and he has regressed. This is it, like there's a lot of things that just blow my mind about this whole situation.
Frustrating. I mean,
The
it's
only way,
frustrating. I can't. I mean, everyone. It's just it's frustrating. Like, Roman should have been going a year ago, 2 years ago.
I
That's
wouldn't
common
necessarily say.
sense.
I would
Why
say
isn't
last
that
year.
stuff? Yeah, I mean, but okay, last year, whatever, fine. I give that to you. But I don't understand how it's so clear, but how they can be on a completely different page. I get they know a lot more than we know. I get their stuff behind the scenes we don't know. I get all that, but it's like, come on, man. I don't care what's going on behind the scenes. Actually, it's clear as day. It's clear as day. It's sad. And when you sit there and watch it, man, like it's either a slant, a long curl, and a short curl, or guys are slanting, zigzagging. Like guys just miss each other. I watch Andrews and Likely just, and then like the sequence of the calls, like that screen to Likely. As soon as Huntley snapped the ball, I was like, no, 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 no. Started screaming no because I could see it the whole way. Could see
And so
exactly
does their
what they were
defense.
doing.
So
Likely
did Pittsburgh.
yes, they did. Yeah, likely creeped out. Like, come on. Like, it was just a horrible. Like, really, man? Third down, and we really need to get this, and you're throwing a screen to your fucking backup tight end. Like, shit like that. Mismanagement with timeouts all the time with Harbaugh. Like, come on, man. You've been coaching forever, your whole life. Like, it's insane. Harbaugh has notoriously been bad with clock management.
Yes, he has.
Terrible. Terrible with clock management. Terrible. He has gotten better with not going for it on fucking fourth down. I will give him that.
Because we have a halfway decent punter.
Yes.
Brandon Mitchell said he didn't know that Lamar's been in a Giro type of offense his entire career here, but not in college. Petrino didn't run the RPO like that. He had some design runs, but Petrino ran a pro style offense. That's what got Teddy Bridgewater drafted. He ran a pro style offense. and Bridgewater was a fantastic pro style quarterback, even though he was dual threat coming out of the draft, and that terrible injury that he had at practice is what
Yeah,
derailed his
that's a
career
shame.
to make him a journeyman. But he had Bridgewater before he had Lamar, and he made Bridgewater a high draft pick.
Yeah,
So there's the evidence right there.
yep.
Carlos Gray, he said, "How much money is Lamar worth now?" That is a fantastic question to round out the comments on Facebook Live. Uh, it's a double-edged sword. If you look at his durability, he hasn't played a full 16 game set in 2 or 3 years now. But if you look at how the Ravens offense plays with him as opposed to without him, there is a two touchdown differential almost in points scored on average when Huntley starts as opposed to Lamar Jackson. You're gonna have to. He's showing his worth to the team right now when he's not even playing. Because if he's playing the last couple of weeks, we might have clinched the North a week or two ago. You never know. But at this point right now, his price is going up to somebody else, but it might be going down to us.
Yeah,
Or the front office is like we might not have a clue, and the front office might be like, hey, we're gonna have to throw a ton of money at this dude to keep him to stay because he's the centerpiece to this entire offense and makes it go. So, what do you think though? Like, what do you think his worth is, Josh?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Me, somewhere around Dak Prescott ish 5 year deal. Do I
So you're
think he's worth? Do I think he's worth 270? Whatever the fuck crazy thing he wants, whatever guaranteed is, absolutely not. I don't think no one is. I don't think Watson's worth it. I think all the owners hate the Browns owner for that. No, I don't. I don't think he's worth what he in his mind he's worth. I don't.
You
I
know,
don't.
I was listening to the fan earlier this week, and they had Jimmy Patsos on for Vinny Serrato, and I don't know if you caught any of that day at all, Josh, but he said that it's looking crazier and crazier how Lamar didn't get paid more than Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, and he's better than both of them at this juncture in their careers, respectively. And he said that the fact that they couldn't land somewhere in between Russell Wilson's deal and Deshaun Watson's deal makes him think that we never really offered him the money he was looking for in the first place.
Could be right.
Let's see. Carlos also says, "Do the Ravens pay whatever he's asking for?" There's one situation where he gets paid what he's asking for, and that is he comes back this week and then he runs the table all the way into February and he wins it all. Anything short of that or a fantastic like AFC Championship game,
Yeah.
no, not going to happen here.
Yeah, Bisciotti didn't want to pay it up to this point. I don't see him wanting to pay it, after the way this season's turned. It's just bad business, man. Guaranteed money, what people don't even think is, and I know Bisciotti's a billionaire, but come on, it's guaranteed money that he has to kick out up front, which means that's a lot of money out of the bank that's not collecting interest. That's another part of it.
Yeah. Um,
Billionaires like to keep their money in the bank, even if it's owed to you. They still like it in their possession because it generates interest.
Drew Robbins says that he believes a better offensive coordinator will make a huge difference. We might not be a running game juggernaut with the next OC, but Marty Morningwig got the most out of Lamar Jackson his rookie year. That was a fly by the seat of your pants change in the offense, and they had to do it because Lamar Jackson was literally in the first stages of his career, and the way the offense was set up with Joe Flacco is he had wide receivers that could get open on the outside, and Lamar didn't have the Joe Flacco arm strength. Not many people have had his arm strength or will ever have his arm strength. Flacco's arm strength was
Out
one
of
of a
this world.
kind. It was one of a
Yeah.
kind, you know. So that's where I'm at with that. After the Flacco situation, I don't think the Ravens will do that again. That came from Carlos. I tend to agree. I don't think they're going to break the bank for another quarterback unless they absolutely positively have to. Because after we paid Joe Flacco in 2012, we didn't see the playoffs again very often with Joe, and
Two more times.
the team got decimated. So they couldn't pay anybody on defense. They couldn't pay their wide receiver what he was asking for, and you saw the after effects. Flacco had one good year after 2012, and that was 2014 when we had Gary Kubiak as our offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I hated to see him go, man. God, I wanted him to stay here.
Well, he wasn't passing up the opportunity to
No, I
uh,
know, I know.
coach the Denver Broncos or coach Peyton Manning. It just seemed like that was destiny right there. That was a perfectly written Hollywood story. Kubiak
Yeah.
returning to the place he played and the place he coached at to lead the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning at the helm.
To
You
Super
see,
Bowl.
yeah, you see, he deserved it. But I've said this for years, and me and you have argued about this. Harbaugh keeps nobody on his staff that is a threat to his job. There's
Yeah.
nobody on the Ravens staff right now that they would promote from within tomorrow if they fired Harbaugh. Nobody, with the exception of maybe Anthony Weaver, who is the assistant head coach. There's nobody on that staff that they would say, "Here's the keys to the kingdom tomorrow morning."
I don't think he wants to win, Matt. I don't agree with that. I think Harbaugh wants to win. I don't think it's about who can take his job.
Mm, I
Come
don't
on.
believe that. I don't
I
believe
don't
it.
believe it. I don't believe that.
I mean, we can agree to disagree, but there's look at our coaching staff under Harbaugh over the years. How many head coaches have came out of the Harbaugh tree?
I mean, not a lot.
None.
Okay, no, you had the Colts coach, Chuck.
Okay, Pagano.
Rex
Okay, so
Ryan.
we had one. We had
Rex
one in
Ryan,
15
too.
years.
Rex Ryan counts. He was on the staff.
No, he does not. Rex
He
Ryan
does.
was a billet coach. Rex Ryan was a Brian Billick era coach. That does not count for Harbaugh. I refuse to believe that counts in John's favor.
Which
No, thank
staff was
you.
he on when
He
hired
was
by the
on
Jets?
Baltimore's staff for a year. He was on
Well,
the Baltimore. He was
he
on
was on.
Harbaugh's staff for one
Well, it
season.
still counts in the records, Matt. I don't make the rules.
That was piss poor. You're better than that. But we have rambled on for an hour. Um, that is a wrap on the Ravens and Steelers recap show, brought to you by the great folks at Grade H Sports Memorabilia in Parkville, Maryland. This was our debut broadcast on Driving to the Top Sports. Thank you, Adam, for having us join the network. We are thrilled to be a part of it. Join us Friday night at 9:30. We will be live for the Bengals and Ravens season finale preview show. We have a couple of really good guests lined up. Josh, go ahead and sign us off, brother man.
All right, Ravens fans, it'll get better from here. It sucks losing to the Squealers. Uh, things will get better. We're going to shut the cave down, regroup. Hopefully, Lamar Dizzy may come back this game. Hopefully, maybe they'll make this game up somehow. Who knows? We shall see. Lights out.